Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Teslin Figaro. Good morning.
Good morning, DJ MV. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning.
Ashley. Yeah, and Charlamagne the God is back, aka Uncle Snacks.
Stale snacky. We're not gonna start stale snacky. Well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this Alabama doc. Police are looking for people now.
Yeah, I wanted to give an update. We covered it yesterday, but we did get some more information now. For those who are unfamiliar, a lot of people have been posting, tweeting, making memes about the Alabama riverboat brawl that many of you have been following. And for those that don't know, it's the story about the black security guard that was doing his job. He asked a group of white men to move their boat that was parked illegally. The white men jumped him, and then other black people jumped in to assist. Now, the latest update is that the police department said that there are 4 active warrants. Did not say who is getting those warrants, obviously. They said there could be a possibility of more warrants to follow after they review additional video.
A lot of angles of that tape.
There's a lot of angles in that tape. The department's chief said that they plan to hold a press conference this afternoon to offer more information on the incident. I'll be definitely following that and watching that live. Mayor Stephen Reed said that those who chose violence will be held accountable by our criminal justice system. And I'm hoping he understands who chose violence first. Some people chose violence and some people chose self-defense, but we'll see how that plays out. And I just want to mention this before I toss it to you, because I know folks definitely want to hear your insight on this, Charlamagne. But I mentioned yesterday on air and posted several times on Instagram that that we are looking for folks who have been arrested that may need possible legal assistance. So if you are someone or know someone that has been arrested, there are attorneys on standby waiting to help you with those services. So definitely follow me at Teslin Figaro and keep us posted on that, not just today, but in the coming days as the story continues to develop.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the brother that got we seen get arrested. Do we know what happened with him?
He hit that white woman with that chair. That's what happened. We hit that white woman with that chair.
We seen that. We seen that
punk ass cops tackled his ass immediately. Y'all ain't been tackling nobody else out there. But as soon as that black man hit that white woman with that chair, y'all just tackled that man to the ground.
Because they couldn't catch nobody. How you gonna catch the 16-year-old that jumped in the water? When a black man jumps in the water to swim to then catch a fade, and you see the video of them skipping down the dock.
Yes, that's my favorite part. The skip.
Those are 2 signals to not mess with nobody.
Yeah, the dude that jumped in the water, he shouldn't face no charges because he was clearly just coming to help. I mean, everybody was coming to help.
Of course, everybody was coming to help.
I mean, the reality is, as much as we love the solidarity, the unity, the group operation those brothers and sisters showed, the law is going to find quite a few assault charges in that altercation.
Yeah.
They just are. Some with self-defense. To me, all of it could be looked at as self-defense, but they're gonna find some assault charges in that melee. But you have to be willing to take those risks for your people.
Absolutely,
you do. I saw one of the sisters who was part of the crew. Actually, the sister who threw the woman in the river. Remember when the one that got thrown in the river and she busted out her Crocs?
Yep.
By the way, that's the first time I ever seen a pair of Crocs look like an actual crocodile eating somebody's ankle. Go back and look at that picture. It looked like a crocodile's mouth eating her ankle. She said she lost her job. You know what I mean?
Who, the black woman?
Yeah, I saw her yesterday on Instagram saying she lost her job.
Wow.
She was part of the riverboat crew, I believe. But like I said, you got to be willing to take those risks, for your people. That's what happens.
It does say that one family owns a mini mart or something.
Yep.
Oh, the white
and so
people?
The white family.
People. Twitter found it and flooded it.
Did reviews, horrible reviews.
It's closed.
Yeah. And just like Charlamagne mentioned, she said she lost her job. We've been trying, a lot of organizers behind the scenes trying to verify these stories because I know folks that say, oh, I heard this or I heard that. And, I just want to let everybody keep in mind, we are trying to really verify this information because unfortunately, anybody can say they're anything and set up a GoFundMe and, raise all types of money. And once that money goes out, it's gone. So we are, really trying to do our due diligence and finding out who these folks are, but they have to come forward as well.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Teslin, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club on BET.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host, Ashley, with 2 E's.
With 2 E's.
Repping at 93.7 The Beat. Now, let's get in some front page news. Now we have Teslin Figaro back. Morning, Tez.
Good morning, DJ Envy. Good morning, Ashley with 2 E's. Beautiful
morning.
Ashley. And Charlamagne the God is back.
Peace, Taz.
Now let's jump right in. Let's talk about this Minneapolis officer who got close to 5 years yesterday.
Yeah, at the sentencing hearing for former Officer Tao. Now, for those who don't remember, that was the guy that stood by and did absolutely nothing while Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. He said he did not intend to hurt anyone that day. He spoke at length about his growth as a Christian during his 340 days behind bars. Remember, he was already serving time already, but yesterday he was sentenced for an additional charge at the state level, but he denied any responsibility for Floyd's death. In rambling remarks full of biblical references, he drew parallels about the sufferings of Job and Jesus. Let's take a listen and listen to the judge's response.
Scripture tells us that it is not good to go against your conscience. And despite what this court has ruled, I know we cannot hide our thoughts or intent from God, for we must give an account on the day we appear before God. Therefore, I must obey. I hold on to the truth that I did not commit these crimes. My conscience is clear.
After 3 years of reflection, I was hoping for a little more remorse, regret, acknowledgement of some responsibility, and less preaching.
Man, he earned all that time. You know what I'm saying? And, he can say he didn't intend to hurt anyone, but what he should have said is he didn't intend to help anyone. Because you sat there and watched a fellow officer kill George Floyd for no reason. So even if you didn't want to help George Floyd, you clearly didn't want to help your fellow officer either. Unless you thought y'all was just going to get away with it.
Right. And so as an officer, you take a pledge to protect and serve. And watching that man kill that brother and do absolutely positively nothing,
right.
Not pushing him off, not say, hey, not anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
even if you don't want to help George Floyd, at least you don't want to see your fellow officer go to jail forever, right? Mm-hmm. But once again, that's why I say I feel like in his mind, he thought they could just get away with it.
Right.
But honestly, do you even want someone that cowardly who's like, well, I didn't do it. I didn't touch him. It wasn't my hands. Mm-hmm. So do you want that person protecting your community anyway?
Nope.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and when you have laws set up like duty to intervene, we've talked about that several times. That's actually one of the things that we are pushing in the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, where it's not a matter of what you want to do, but what you're required to do. And so that's why public policy is important, to hold these officers accountable, and duty to intervene is one. Now, just to give you some additional information, he was sentenced to 57 months for aiding and abetting a second-degree manslaughter. That is at the top end under the state guidelines. The standard is 48 months. Mm-hmm. The sentence was more than 51 months that the prosecutors asked for, and his attorneys only asked for 41 months. So, I guess he's somewhere in the middle. Now, he's doing that time concurrently with his 3.5-year sentence for the separate conviction on the federal civil rights charge.
Do we think all this sentencing in the George Floyd case will change police officers' minds all across the country or not?
Well, I have to be honest and say that I don't want to take away from the over 100 cities that have changed police, made some level of reform. Now, I don't think you can change the hearts. The only thing that can change the heart is God himself. Mm-hmm. What I believe is there's consequences for your actions. And so there has been some significant change again in over 100 cities. Minneapolis by itself paid out over $100 million of lawsuits. So that's going to damn sure bring some change, because they don't want to have to keep paying out that money. And I'm not talking about just to the family. I'm talking about, protesters, people that went back and filed other claims against the police department for previous issues. So pretty much almost bankrupt the city. So yeah, it was definitely some change in Minneapolis for sure, because they just can't afford to keep paying out, those types of lawsuits. So Will it change their hearts? We don't know. Will it change the budget? Hell yeah. So, we just have to keep pressing forward on that.
I love it. Pockets in prison. That's the only thing.
That's right.
That's the only thing that's going to bring forth some change. Hit them in the pocket, send them to prison.
All right. Well, that is Front Page News. Thank you, Teslin.
And make sure you subscribe to Teslin Figaro's podcast, The Straight Shot No Chaser podcast, on the Black Effect iHeartRadio Podcast Network, and follow Tez at Teslin Figaro on all social media platforms.
That's right. It's The Breakfast Club. Thank you, Tez.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.